returned to Port-au-Prince. The move was a surprise. The former dictator had been ousted by a popular uprising. Still, hundreds of loyalists continued to support him. Some rallied outside his hotel. The Duvalier dictatorship over Haiti lasted for 30 years, beginning with Jean-Claude's father, François, nicknamed Papa Doc. Father and son are accused of having opponents tortured and killed in what's described as one of the darkest periods of Haitian history. When Papa Doc died in 1971, his son took power. Aged only 19, he was nicknamed Baby Doc. Using the same methods as his father, Duvalier secured his power for 15 years with his secret police force, the bloody Tonton Macoute. Before being ousted, this is how Duvalier described Haiti's future.
Will you organize elections next year as planned?
There was no plan to hold elections.
No election? So you're president for life?
Yes.
Decades after the repression, investigators now need to determine whether the former dictator is guilty of crimes against humanity. There's no time limitation over these crimes. The court ruled that Duvalier could eventually be charged.
And here in France, 4 key figures of the French resistance are set to be honoured this Friday at the Panthéon, the national monument for important cultural and historical figures. President François Hollande has chosen 2 women and 2 men to be buried at the site in the centre of Paris. Carvenung has more.
The Panthéon is a monument to France's most important people. And this year, President François Hollande has chosen to honour 4 major figures of the French resistance: Germain Tillon, Geneviève de Gaulle-Anthonioz, Pierre Brossolette, and Jean Zay. Jean Zay was an education minister before the war who was arrested and killed in 1944 for refusing to collaborate with the Vichy regime. Pierre Brossolette was a resistance leader and journalist who died after jumping out of a window to escape torture at the hands of the Gestapo. 2 female resistance fighters who were part of the same network in Paris are being honoured as well. Both were sent to the Ravensbrück concentration camp north of Berlin. Geneviève de Gaulle-Anthonioz, a niece of the General Charles de Gaulle, later campaigned against poverty and became the first woman to receive the Grand Cross of the Legion of Honor. Years later, she recalled her time at the concentration camp.
I smelled something. It was the odor of misery. You can never forget that. That's what we smelled like at Ravensbrück.
Germain Tillon was an anthropologist who wrote about her experiences at the concentration camp.
I didn't think that I'd live, but I told myself that at least someone would escape. And if I told my stories to my comrades, those that managed to leave will be able to tell them to the outside world.
All but 2 of the nearly 80 figures currently honoured at the Panthéon are women. And by choosing 2 women this year, the president has begun to address the gender imbalance.
Time now for a wrap of the latest sports news.
At the Winter Olympics, France swept the